lines?
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the O. Charles Show. I'm your host, Charlie Charles, and I have the honor of being here with special guest Bobbi Jo, my grandmother, today. And we're going to be talking about how to teach kids a second language and get into how to do that and why it's important. So thanks so much for being here, Grandma.
You're welcome. I'm excited.
So first of all, why don't you share what's your language background? How did you get started with Spanish and why?
Living in Texas, Spanish is everywhere, but my elementary school, Tanglewood Elementary in Fort Worth, Texas, offered a before school Spanish class. It was 4th grade and 5th grade, and then we moved. So that was the only 2 grades I had it until I actually took it in school. And I just enjoyed it. I was always up for additional learning in any class that I could go to.
Yeah.
And I do think that had an influence on later life. You don't think about some little bitty 4th and 5th grade class that you're probably just learning words. But I think that's why it came easier in middle school and high school, was because in elementary school I was exposed to the language.
Yeah, so an early start is beneficial.
Very
for sure.
beneficial. I really believe elementary is the place to start it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you ended up in college.
Majoring in it, but not intending to. I was going to be a physical therapist, but found out that was not the route for me to go because I have a weak stomach, and there were some things I was going to have to do, but I did get all my prerequisites, and then I needed to graduate because we were moving, so I had to take 8 classes in 2 semesters, 8 Spanish classes in 2 semesters to graduate with a Spanish degree.
Wow.
And that's what I did.
So loading up on the Spanish.
Loading up on the Spanish those 2 semesters, yes.
But since then, you have used that to bless your grandchildren and friends and family. So how many grandchildren do you have?
Oh, I have 11.
And
it is wonderful.
Her Spanish students include all those grandchildren, but also friends she's teaching. Well, how many Spanish classes are you teaching right now?
Let's see. 1, 2. Let's see. I'm teaching the high school four those classes in high school a week, plus to 2 sets of grandchildren and to the twins of my niece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 classes a week.
So that's 7 classes and in multiple formats. So you've got your 2 high school Spanish 1, Spanish 2. There's classes on Zoom. There's classes in person. And you've got the whole classroom set up in your basement.
Yes, I have 6 desks in my basement and a whiteboard, and we love it down there. A neighborhood girl joins us as well. It's actually the daughter of one of my daughter's friend.
Yeah, so she's got the real operation going on here. So why you decided you homeschooled your kids and ended up passing Spanish down to them, and now obviously to all these other children, including me. So why is it important for kids to learn a second language, and what motivated you to pass it on?
Language is such a, I don't know how to describe it. It's such an unusual thing in life, isn't it? And to know 2, I just thought, wow, to be able to understand 2 different languages saying the same thing. And certainly in the south part of any part of the United States, but in the southern part of the United States, Spanish would really be helpful.
Yeah.
And then as I became a Christian and found Christian curriculum, I thought, wow, then that's a way that we can reach people that are of a different language.
Right.
Because they think, wow, it's not even your first language, and you're speaking my language to help me know God. Wow, that must be, I think that might be hopefully influential to be a good witness for the Lord.
I mean, because in the Bible, the historical event of the Tower of Babel, the language barrier was to divide the people, and in learning another language, we can break down a barrier for them to interact with us and also hopefully to interact with Jesus if we get that opportunity. So.
And the more you know a language, the more you can know their culture.
Yes.
And I love knowing other cultures. There's always the positives and negatives. We can take the positives from their culture and take out some negatives of our own, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think cultural awareness is something Americans especially lack. And so being able to be, okay, I'm not going to go into this restaurant shouting about my personal problems. I'm going to be polite and, learning to deal with that is really important for sure. So teaching the kids a second language is passing all that down to them, really setting up successful habits for them for sure.
And also, I think their pronunciation is very much determined by how early they hear the language and start saying it.
Yeah, so the earlier the better. Start. I mean, because that's, when we learn our first language, it's as early as it can be, So, yeah. So with that in mind, for the listener that's like, well, I would like to start doing this, I mean, how do you start?
That's a good question. I think it's good to start simply, maybe at first, just numbers and letters and alphabet and then words that they're seeing every day, things that they see, and phrases that they say every day. But quickly move into memorization, because I think when they memorize, then they can really feel like they're speaking the language. And even if they don't know the verb tense, say, then later on they're learning their conjugations and they can say, oh, yeah, that's why that's there. I read somewhere that that's how Lincoln learned everything, was by reading and writing and rote memory. And I do think memorizing is kind of lost today. People aren't memorizing poems but certainly scripture and just different things, and singing familiar songs that they know in a different language. Like this morning, I had first graders, and they really liked that I taught them Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in Spanish. And they caught on really fast to that.
Wow. So it's multiple levels, not just a textbook, but there is that, as well as you got the reading, writing, singing. I mean, I know you have a whole arsenal of games as well that you use.
I have Bingota. In fact, that's how we read the Bible or read section. I go over words. They put them in the squares of their bingo thing, which is Bingota. And then we play that after we've read the passage, the Bible passage. And that way they understand the Bible passage better, because we've gone over it with the Bingota. And that's working out real well. And the elementary kids that I have now are doing a reading comprehension that I think I did my freshman year in college.
Wow.
Or maybe it was high school, but.
And there's the beauty of when you're passing it on to your kids, you can go at the pace of what they need to do. So I know you adjust that for all your different levels that you're teaching right now.
That it is a little harder when you have, like, I've got second graders all through sixth grade in one class, but I do try to teach to the older, because I think the younger will get it. It may be a little frustrating here and there for them, but they will get it too. It's better than teaching to the lower, to the beginner.
Yeah, I think kids are capable of a lot more than we think, and you've passed so much down. These methods work. I am going to say, I remember learning Bible verses very young, and I had no clue. You don't know this word means this and that word means that. And now I still know them, and now I know exactly what it is, and you just can see the progress in that, which is amazing.
And it's with you for life.
Yeah, it
Those
is.
early verses that you memorize, whether it be English in your native language or in the new language that you're learning, are there for life.
Yes.
Especially the younger you learn them.
And I remember there's I don't know if you can even still find it, but Trip to Spain.
I still have that.
I still have it in this pink folder right there. And there's my Trip to Spain. It's like a story with vocabulary, right? Where did you find that?
I got that curriculum, probably christianbook.com, but I don't remember. But it's in one book, and then I copied it off just for you, not to do anything with copyright.
Yeah.
But trip to Spain and trip to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we struggled over reading the one page because it was, and even for me, I was struggling then. But now looking back, I'm like, you understand it all. You don't have to look up a single word.
It is amazing to see the progress. I think in a lot of public schools, it's just it's not as diverse of a curriculum. It's not as interesting. It doesn't move as quickly in a practical direction, and so it's harder to see the progress. But when you're right there with the kid, teaching them, it's a lot different. Mm-hmm. And I just remember, Grandma has been so patient with all her students. I remember there would be days when my brother and I were not listening.
I still run across lesson plans. I ran across a lesson plan the other day that was, I think, 2017, something like that. And I loved, I had spaces between each thing we were doing. And the flashcards, I still have. I use flashcards. That's another thing. Flashcards, music, and then games, like you said, and just review.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of review.
But just
Pledge of Allegiance, Lord's Prayer. I'm teaching 10 Commandments right now. Los 10 Mandamientos, and my grandkids that I do on Zoom ask for Psalm 23, so we're learning that. And that's a first grader, a third grader, and a fifth grader.
Wow.
So they're learning Psalm 23 in Spanish.
But what a gift. I mean, you're not only passing down scripture, but a language along with it, and just combined. It's amazing.
Well, I'm so proud of you because you're majoring in it and you're wanting to use it and teach it, right?
Yeah,
What level would you like to teach?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I mean, I'm majoring in K through 12 Spanish education, so I do think, man, that's hard. I think it would be fun to teach any level because, especially right now, I'm noticing there's not a lot of a very good curriculum out there for Spanish in many schools. So it would be great to kind of incorporate all these different techniques rather than just taking a year to learn numbers. Why don't we incorporate verses? Why don't we incorporate books? You could even watch a Disney movie in Spanish. These are things you can do that people just aren't. And I've seen from GRANDMOM that there's so much more you can do with the language.
You know what you should do is write a curriculum with all the.
You should write a curriculum.
No, I can't. But you have so much. You're so creative. I'm not creative. You're so creative.
Grandma
write
creative.
A curriculum that the younger kids. Yeah, because that's what I'm seeing. In even the private school that some of my grandkids go to, then they take Spanish from me, but they have a little Spanish there. They're just learning the numbers. Okay, what are you doing with the numbers? Well, that class that I do in my basement, their favorite thing is I let each one be a leader every day, a different one every day. They put a number with billions in there.
Wow.
So 12-digit number, and then they call on somebody to say what it is. Because it's one thing to learn your numbers, but learn them out of order so that when you're somewhere, you can boom, 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 boom.
I mean, I think in English I would struggle saying a 12-digit number.
That's what we did this week. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So you've sort of mentioned a little bit about the techniques, but are there any other resources in terms of, I know music, there's a program that you use. Rockalingua.
Oh, Rockalingua, yes, a wonderful program. I love it. I haven't been using it much lately because it's hard since I don't have a big screen.
Right.
And with a class, not everybody can see it, but I do tell everybody about it and hope that they will do it on their own. I don't think they are, but some have in the past. Okay, but it teaches, the prepositions in a fun, musical way. Everything is taught in a fun, musical way on that website, but it's hard for me to incorporate that into the class. And if I could figure it out, last year I tried by putting it on for the high schoolers, but our curriculum was so intricate. rigorous that I
It's
don't
an
think it
intense
was just
curriculum.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't really allow for a lot of extra time.
But what high school curriculum are you using as well?
Becca, and it's very good. Spanish 1, Spanish 2 probably does the equivalent of, I don't know,
It
2 or
does
3
the
years
equivalent,
of college.
It's amazing.
And they even have that curriculum. If I had more than 2 days to do the 5-day curriculum, they have a reader that goes with it.
Oh.
And I was using that with Mark last year.
Okay.
It was reading comprehension, a page, and then you answer questions. I'm doing a little bit easier one with the basement class.
Wow.
But reading comprehension is important.
Yeah, that's important in English too. So, hey, kill two birds with one stone.
Because sometimes you don't need to know you don't need to know every word or to do that word for word. You know, there's phrases and different phrases that you use that one word to word translation wouldn't sound right. Mm-hmm. You know.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So you have, as we said, people on Zoom, people of all ages. So I guess you mentioned, teaching to the older kids and the younger kids, they get it. It's amazing. But how about online? I know that there's maybe somebody's listening right now. Maybe you don't have kids or your kids are out of the house and they have kids and you want to pass along a language, but you don't live right there. How are you managing online, even with younger kids, and keeping their attention and dealing with all that?
Well, it is hard, especially kindergarten, first grade. But second on up, we have we are beginning questions. We have the same beginning questions every week. ¿Cuál es la fecha? ¿Qué tiempo hace? Then we have our things that we've memorized, the Lord's Prayer. We just begin with all the things that we've memorized, and then we go into the Bible, and I go over the words. We don't do the bingota. We can't do some things. But for the Bible, my 5th grader can read Spanish quite well. So I hold up the Bible to the iPad, and he reads the Spanish, and then the 2nd grader reads the English translation.
Wow.
And that's how we do the Bible. I don't read any
wonderful.
of it. They do it. And it's after I've gone over a few of the terms that I think they might not have known. But about 3 or 4 pages, not a lot, just that much. And what else do we do every week? Flashcards are good for Zoom, and songs.
Right.
In fact, when I visited them, I took a binder and had put a lot of the songs there.
Oh, great.
And then for the 1st grader in the group, I have these little books, and you may remember them. We made many of them, and I still look at some of your color. And today I had one that you had colored. You had colored it. It was called Burbujas. Do you remember Burbujas?
Bubbles.
And I have the 1st grader read the English, and the 3rd grader reads, the 5th grader reads the Spanish, and the 3rd grader repeats the Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as you can tell, this is not just, we're just gonna.
I'm not doing all the talking.
We've got lots of structure. Grandma has a plan. I think that's so important, especially for young kids. When they know there's a routine, they know that they know what to expect and just what's coming next. So they're not. It's not like. It's just, I'm going to teach a language by doing random things. No, like it having a plan helps in everything in life, and I think that.
I always have a lesson plan.
Yeah. She's always planned ahead. I mean, Grandma is an amazing teacher. Let me just say.
No.
I am majoring in Spanish
Maria.
because I love it because of Grandma, and if you guys could see, there are 2 Spanish binders above our heads right now on the bookshelf that are full of materials from learning from her for years, and I was able to be in Spanish for high school class as a high school freshman because of that. I mean, so this is not just amateur tips here. Grandma knows what she's talking about. So I guess finally to wrap it up, we've talked a little bit about it, but what's the effect and what's sort of your goal for sharing language with your family? And even, I mean, I have so many memories of learning Spanish with you. Just what a gift to pass that on. So,
I think it happened by accident or by God. I hadn't really ever thought, I want to pass this on. No, I never thought of that. But it's happened.
mm,
And every one of the grandchildren do know the language and can, at least are familiar and are hearing it and enjoying it. And that's what's important.
yeah.
Enjoying
Oh, yeah.
the other language, enjoying knowing something that's not familiar to you.
And you maybe you're thinking, well, my kid is not going to be majoring in a language, but it's still important, even for the mental pathway of seeing one thing and knowing it means another thing, and just this connection. I mean, even that alone, like scientifically, in terms of your brain, is so important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then this gift of connecting and just, well, I mean, Grandma spends practically her entire life taking care of all the grandkids. So
No.
it's not like she needed another thing to connect with them, but she has. And it's been such a gift to everyone. So
Thank you. It's been a dream of mine to be bilingual, but I will say I am not bilingual. I would love to be, but I do think you have to live in and rely on it every day to communicate, to actually be bilingual.
yeah. But I mean, I am just amazed. It's really amazing. I don't think anybody has a grandmother with a magic classroom in her basement for Spanish, and it's just been wonderful. So thank you for sharing just what you've done over the years and what you're even doing right now and even this morning. And I really appreciate you being on the show and for all the patience and time you put into teaching us. So what a
My
gift.
pleasure. My pleasure.
So thank you, Grandma, for being here. Thank you all for listening. I hope you're guaranteed to have gotten something good there. I mean, there's so much good information on teaching anything, really. But I hope that you are motivated to look into a second language for your kid, for yourself, and just the idea of passing something on to your family members is a gift they will not forget or lose. So thank you for listening. Once again, I'm your host, Charlie Charles, and this has been the O. Charles Show, over and out.